Good morning, everybody. Romel Santiago here once again. So, welcome to the third video of Stages of Change. So, today we're going to be talking about the difference between action and maintenance in terms of these particular stages of change. In the last video, we talked about pre-contemplation, contemplation, preparation, and action, and moving through each one of those stages requires one specific ingredient: pain. That's right. Pain, pain, pain. Again, from pre-contemplation to contemplation requires that nudge of pain. From contemplation to preparation, it requires a little bit more challenge. And then from preparation to action, this requires a ton, really hitting our pain threshold. When you think about how do you get a 9-ton-pound boulder, 9-ton-pound, wow, 9-ton boulder moving, right? Initially, it requires a shit ton of force. And then once it's moving, what's that law? An object in motion stays in motion, right? So once it's moving, it remains in motion. In order to keep it moving, it doesn't require much effort, right? And this is the difference between preparation and action, is initially getting that boulder moving, and action and maintenance, maintaining the movement. Again, that one ingredient that's needed between each one of these stages is pain. There's 4 ingredients that are needed in order to move from action to maintenance. And this is pain. Again, pain is required. People do not change because shit's going great. People change because there is a level of pain, discomfort. Motivation. Why am I doing this? What is my North Star? What is keeping me on this particular path? Reward. Why the hell would I continue to do something that I do not like, that is uncomfortable, that causes me a level of discomfort, if I'm not working towards achieving something and if I'm not rewarding myself along the way? And then time. One of the things that we oftentimes forget about is, and I'm going to use smoking again, I'm going to quit smoking. That statement alone causes a shit ton of anxiety, because I'm going to quit smoking doesn't mean I'm going to not smoke today. We envision this idea of quitting something as the rest of our lives. When was the last time that you actually dedicated 15, 20, 30, 40 years to doing something, to making a change? Outside of actually getting into a relationship and marriage, right? That's another video. But when was the last time that we consciously knew, I am going to dedicate the next 30 years to making this change? Right? When we think about it that way, that causes a lot of anxiety. And so we need a time limit. I'm going to incorporate this change for the next week, for the next month, right? Keeping a time that's relative to beginning this change process, right? If we're beginning a change process and we commit and we're telling ourselves we're committing for the next year, that's way too long, right? What we oftentimes do is we overcommit. We plan these extreme or extraordinary goals with no reward, with very little motivation for actually doing these things, and then have this idea in our head that this is going to be for the rest of our lives, or this is going to be for this extreme period of time. What I'm going to encourage you to do is decrease that. We need pain. Pain has to be there. We have to have a reason for this change. Motivation is going to be one of the most important components outside of time, because motivation is our North Star. Motivation is what is my driving force to actually do this? Why do you want to go to the gym? Well, I want a different size body. I want to be healthier. I want this. I want no, no. It has to be something that brings you a level of passion that is beyond, I just want to make this small change. No, because even a small change is a change. And even a small change is a disruption in your life, which means any any change that we implement, there has to be a motivation, there has to be a drive, right? What is your drive? What is your North Star? And so once we find what our pain is, and then we find what our motivation is, and then we set a time, being able to reward ourselves along the path is going to be super important, right? Being able to reward ourselves for accomplishing the daily goal, for accomplishing that more that weekly goal, for accomplishing this particular action in this moment. If my goal is to stop smoking cigarettes for the next week, right? Every moment that I normally smoke a cigarette, if it's at 7 a.m. and noon and 3 and 5 and 7 and 10, right? That's an opportunity for 6 rewards. A reward doesn't have to be going out to a 5-star dinner, but a reward should oftentimes be equal to the level of work that we put into. So if I'm not smoking a cigarette, I may reward myself with, you know what, Romel, you did a really great job. We're gonna go have an extra cup of coffee, or we're gonna go have a donut, or we're gonna go do this at 5 o'clock in the morning when you normally have a cigarette, giving yourself a pep talk, giving yourself some type of reward, whether that's, uh, and we'll talk about positive reward and negative reward in another video, I promise. But whether that's verbal reward, or whether that's taking something off of our plate, like, you know what, I'm gonna ask my partner to do the chores for to do the dishes for me, because I, this is going to be my reward for not smoking. This is going to be my reward for this. This is going to be my reward for this particular event, this particular action. And at the end of the week, what's a bigger reward that we can reward ourselves with? You know, I didn't smoke 5 times today, and I smoked 3 times yesterday, and I smoked twice the day before, but I didn't smoke the day before that. And so I drastically decreased the amount of cigarettes that I smoked this week. So I'm going to go out and I'm going to treat myself to, for me, shrimp lo mein. I am going to go out to my favorite Chinese restaurant and have shrimp lo mein. Like, that is my reward for the week, right? Those small rewards that allow us to reward ourselves for those smaller accomplishments, those bigger rewards for bigger accomplishments, and allowing that to accumulate. So in the next video, we'll talk more about how we're going to identify, or how we're going to help you set your particular goals, and what that looks like for you specifically. So that being said, we do have to pause, but I hope you all have a wonderful, amazing rest of this beautiful day, and I will see you soon.